A couple of days ago, we sat down with Steve Wootke to talk about how he came out of his comfort zone on his journey to Prime. He lives by the company policy, do your best, do what's right, and treat others the way you want to be treated. But is that the real Steve Wootke? We dug in to find out. Steve began his story talking about his love of teaching because he himself had an interest in being a mentor. But how strong of a mentor and teacher is he really? We asked Prime salesman Brad Quinn his perspective on what he learned from his superior.
You know, Steve, he's taught me a lot about sales and life in general. But, one thing he has taught me, and I'm just really not sure I can use it all the time in life, but it's how to become a good drinker and have vitamin V in my life, V vodka.
We're eating probably not as healthy as we should, and certainly consuming a lot of vitamin V, that would be vodka.
Another thing, didn't you indicate to me that Steve was a teacher in the past? I didn't think he could be around kids.
Later, Steve discussed the trials of sales, specifically the difficulty of being away from family for so long and missing important events. His son, Sam Wootke, was able to tell us what that was like.
Well, the great thing about Dad was he was always home when we got home from school to make sure that we were good and make sure that whoever he had hired to do the lawn was there. He always made our lunches, made sure we got to the bus. He was just always present, just always around. The consummate dad. So we learned at an early age that whenever the phone rang, we were to say that, Dad was on the road, just wasn't around. And usually try to figure out who it was so he could figure out what his story would be when he called back. So my dad was very special. He taught us at a young age, how to measure cocktails properly, make sure that we had everything just right and had it the way he liked it. And he even, would have us work on, mixing it in different ways in case there were different customers around or friends. Dad is very flexible, and we were always ready to roll no matter who was in the house. So when we were kids and Dad would have friends over or we would have company, the entertainment was that he would have Lance and I box. Lance was 7, I was 5, or he was 9, I was 7. So it wasn't exactly fair, but we'd glove up, he'd tape us up, and time the rounds. And I guess that was a lot of fun for company. And as they had drinks and we duked it out, usually Lance would win. Typically it would be by TKO. I think I have a scar on the back of my head where I caught the fireplace to the applause of everyone that was there.
Steve also claims he's devoted to his fitness and health despite a rigorous work life. He initially praised trainer Johanna Norsik on pushing him to his fitness goals. So how is Steve as a client?
Steve's really efficient and he works out very diligently. But who wouldn't with 2-pound weights? Let me put it this way. If there aren't any yoga pants around, Steve works out a lot quicker. He gets a lot more done.
She hates men. She's a man hater. She tries to kill us out there.
And on the convenience and care received by on-site doctor John Abraham, Steve and Doc had different perspectives on him as a patient.
I, like probably most people, have always dreaded a doctor visit. I just can't stand thinking about going to a doctor's office at Cox or wherever. And I've called him at crazy hours when I might have a problem. And he's always there to help bring a solution or get me scheduled right away to see him.
Steve is what I would call a special patient. He has special needs. And frankly, it's quite a pleasure to see because some of the stuff I learned about in med school that I thought were gone, like syphilis, for example, I'm finding it's still there. So, thank you, Steve, for that. I know Steve mentioned that he can reach me at any time of the day, and in Steve's case, it's pretty much any time of the night. He has these emergency situations that come up that, frankly, are not very convenient. I love you, Steve, but still, have some respect and some decency. I don't want to break any kind of HIPAA regulations, but your little blue pill is in. So I've got it here for you.
In regards to sharing space, like the drivers, Steve related to sharing a room with Robert on a regular basis.
Not the same bed, double beds, clarify that. However, I can appreciate people wanting space because Robert and I did that for about 3 years